riding a fucking bicycle. Yeah, that is so goddamn illegal.
That is the funniest thing I ever heard.
Subscribe to the podcast, KFC Radio on YouTube.
Bang.
This is my second KFC.
Yeah, well, so you did it. We did it over the pandemic, and we did it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, it's great, and we have talked before, but this is the first real one because you gotta be in person with somebody. And I was just saying to my man over here, I'm 37 now, and I think for my generation, in a couple years either direction, I think Jackass is like, I'm not joking, like so important to that generation, like more so than I said it was the WWF Attitude Era with Stone Cold and The Rock and all that, and you guys that kind of like formed an entire generation of guys' sense of humor, like how you are with your friends, like all that. And I know you guys probably never set out to do any of that shit, but I don't think it gets enough credit for being like, you guys kind of formulated like who we are as like guys and friends and shit.
I think that's probably to overstate it a little bit, but I do think that there was some cultural significance.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I said you let us know that it was like kind of funny and kind of okay to just be gay with each other, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
before that, it was like, go, it's fucking gay, man. Like, don't do that.
Right.
And after you guys, it was like, let's grab each other's dicks.
I love that you make that point because there was so much homoerotic. It continues to be so much homoerotic humor, and it's so clear that we're not like trying to make fun of gay people, but what we're actually the people we're after are the homophobes.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
Dude,
Don't show me your dick.
you
Can see that? Yeah. So I mean, it was that, and then it was also not that you guys, invented this by any means, but I think you really popularized just how funny it is to watch somebody get fucking smashed in the head, or kicked in the dick, or thrown through a wall. I mean, there's just some sort of raw humor about that that's funnier than anything else you can watch.
Right. There's nothing new about slapstick comedy, but and America's Funniest Home Videos was all kinds of slapstick comedy, and the stuff that they passed off as funny was just like straight fucking violence.
Because they put like a boing noise in the background or something.
So much about America's Funniest Home Videos was not fucking funny. It was just horrifying violence. But the difference...
cut and they call the ambulance over and the grandma's bleeding out or whatever.
The difference about America's Funniest Home Videos was that it was caught on camera by accident.
Right.
What was new about Jackass was that it was deliberately filmed.
Yeah.
And it was filmed with a fucking home video camera, and it was really dangerous and fucked up, where slapstick comedy was always like kind of staged and whatever. Jackass, what was new about it was deliberately being fucking reckless.
But it still delivers. Like what it usually is funny when you think you're about to watch something sweet and you see someone get kicked in the dick. It's like, oh my God, I didn't know that was coming. You guys, you'd be like, we call this one hammer nuts, where we're going to hit him in the nuts with the hammer. And I'd be like waiting for it, and they do it, and then it's still really fucking funny.
So funny, And it's not even hyperbole. Like, Knoxville actually swung a sledgehammer into his nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you can say nuts and anything, and it would, it's happened on Jackass, dude. It's do you if you could like snap your fingers and have the same amount of money and happiness and your girl and your dog and success and all that, but you did it being like a marketing executive somehow. You had a desk job. If you can just rewind time and you're right here back in the same spot, your body's in better shape, your mind, whatever else, but you never had that life. Would you do it?
It's
you can't even comprehend. Like you can't even.
No. I can comprehend it easily, and it's just in my DNA to be an attention whore. I mean, straight up. Like I was never even concerned with money at all. Like I never expected to live to be 30 years old. Like I was convinced that I would not. So like I was
for real. You actually were like, I'm checking out early.
100%.
I remember in the special you had where there's a lot of like that behind the scenes videos. And you're like, yeah, that doesn't look like a guy who's gonna live to 30.
Right. Dude, I didn't think there was any fucking chance. I was not saving money for like, for anything. I wasn't saving money. I mean, going back to like when I was in the University of Miami, and like I just couldn't bring myself to go to class, like, and I was like failing, and I just knew I was failing, and there was nothing I could do about it.
I failed out a couple colleges in my day.
Yeah, and I knew that once I was out of college, that I was even more fucked because I knew that I couldn't keep a job. Like I'd been fired from every fucking job I ever tried to have. I've been fired on every denomination of days between 1 and 7. What
are some of the other jobs you had before just making?
I got fired from pizza delivery on day 1.
How?
Like the fucking place was around the corner.
Don't blame the fucking place. Not the fucking place's fault.
Well, the house that ordered the pizza was like literally around the corner, and it took me 45 minutes to get there. Like I was just out of my depth. Of course. That was before the internet, though.
Yeah. So you got lost trying to figure out.
I was high as hell, and then when I finally got there, I sold the guy a bag of weed. I didn't like. But what else? Like there was busboy, there was waiter, trying to be a waiter. I didn't even make it through the training. Like they're just like, this isn't gonna work.
Not for you.
So no job panned out, and I felt like.
Was this because you were like wild or high and not paying attention? Because you're a really like nice dude. I don't see you being like a dickhead to anybody.
Right.
But it was just like you couldn't focus or you didn't listen or what?
My heart was always in the right place, and I think that me more than most people, and I think that like the successful people in general, and I'll go ahead and label myself as successful.
Absolutely, man.
I was incapable of doing anything that I didn't fucking love the idea of. Like without being super passionate about something and really, really caring and loving to do it, I couldn't do it. So that's why I couldn't make it to class. That's why I couldn't fucking bust tables, because I didn't want to fucking do it.
No,
I could not do anything I didn't want to do.
What do you think is wrong with us then? Because I'm the same way. What is the problem in my head?
I don't know if that's wrong. I think you guys are right. I think you guys are. I mean,
no, but we are. I think you're probably in the same boat too. But like, we're right, but we're only right because it worked. Like 99% of the time,
that's what I mean. Like, it's not the most, let's call it, mature approach to life, where you only do it. It's like what little kids do. I only do it. I only eat it if I like it. I only watch it if I like it. There's some level of like you got to just take your medicine and pay your bills. But I think far too many people go the other direction and miss out on life.
For sure. I mean, it's basically the get rich or die trying fucking approach to life. Like I had no backup plan. When I dropped out of the University of Miami, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do now? I was kicked out of the dorms. Like I was not allowed to be in the dorms. Like I was.
Was there a singular incident or?
Yeah, they're like within the first. Within 2 weeks of class starting my freshman year, they raided my room and found all kinds of weed and alcohol. And it was my roommate who had ratted on me.
What?
Well, he was an architecture student putting himself through college. And I was keeping him up all night. So, I
get that, but like, I don't know, maybe request a change or something before you go rat on someone.
But they relocated me to another dorm, which happened to be in a 12-story tower. And I smashed out the window, climbed onto the roof, and then climbed up the radio tower.
I'll do
it. They're like the radio tower's like bending back and forth, and I'm at the top of it, and then cops came out on the roof, and they're like, "Okay, we're done with you around here."
That's like
the final scene of Cable Guy. That's like a Hollywood script. Right there.
Well, but it's funny that fast forward like 25 years, you're duct taped to a billboard, basically doing the same sort of shit. Like it's just in your blood.
Sure, and so I failed. I was kicked out, and then I dropped out. I checked every box as far as failing in college, and on my way out, people were asking me like, okay, well, what are you gonna do now? Like, great, now you're fucked. What's your plan now? And I was like, oh, dude, I'm gonna be fucking rad, dude. I'm gonna videotape stunts with a home video camera, and I'm gonna become a crazy famous stuntman. And mind you, I was saying this in 1993.
Yeah.
Like 3 years.
But so you this was a plan. This was
the only fucking plan. There was no plan B. There was nothing. This was it.
That's wild.
And 1993. That's 3 years before fucking they had email. There was for me
no reason for that to think it was all gonna.
Right, for me to get noticed, I was recording my fucking bullshit stunts on a VHS
big
cassette tape.
Yeah.
Right, and then I was putting in the tape into a video cassette recorder, like hitting play on one. I had it wired to another one. I hit record on that one. That's how I edited.
Yeah.
I would take the video, the video cassette tape, walk it to the post office, and physically mail it to someone who I thought might watch it.
And who would be like someone, like a TV exec or something?
People in the skateboarding industry. That's how I got linked up with Big Brother and all that.
Got it.
And at that time, I mean, dude, I was just documenting my stunts, like, so that there would be some kind of evidence of me after I died having failed at life. I was just trying to pack my message into a bottle and toss it out to sea because there was no fucking hope for me.
That is
so you're not
so depressing, but so funny too.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta have something left here.
Right, and then of course everything ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah,
I went through a period of selling, drugs. Like that was considered how I fed myself for the first number of years, and
were you a good drug dealer or a bad drug dealer?
I was an awful.
I could see you being the worst.
I was the fucking worst. I mean, I only sold weed except for when I was following the Grateful Dead, and I sold a ton of acid.
Yeah.
The bags of weed I sold were just criminally underweight. I mean, fucking, it was terrible.
I think we've said this a couple of times. That's the kind of weed I want back in the game. Because the weed I smoke now is just
too pure.
It's scientific and it's too good. It's like, dude, this is.
I want some weed that burns my lungs a little bit. I'm wondering what else was in there and why it's not working. That's the fucking weed I like, man.
But then I found out about clown college, and I was like, okay, if I go to clown college, then people will take me seriously, for lighting myself on fire at backyard keg parties, because I'll be a trained circus professional. And I went to clown college, and then I didn't have to sell drugs anymore because I was a bona fide circus clown.
Literal.
Were you in like a guild or something like that?
No, I wasn't in a guild. I worked at a flea market circus in Fort Lauderdale. And
a flea market circus in Fort Lauderdale, bro.
The Fort Lauderdale Swap Shop, which is I believe the largest flea market in the world.
I bet it is.
Sounds like the place where The Rock got his start. Wasn't The Rock wrestling in some South Florida?
I don't know about that, but The Rock was from South Florida.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Fort Lauderdale you can get all that.
It was not a real thing.
Right. My last day in the circus at the flea market was my first day filming Jackass. I washed out my clown makeup for the last time, and within a half an hour, I was picking up that goldfish. Straight up.
Wow.
Yeah, and
that's how Knoxville linked up with you.
We had linked up through the Big Brother skateboarding.
Right.
It was all skateboarding shit that brought us together.
I'm surprised to find out that it was so deliberate. Like, I would have guessed that your story is I don't know, man, I was just skating in the park and guys were laughing when I hit my head and we filmed it. And because I know Bert Kreischer told a story about Knoxville, and you know how Bert tends to over-exaggerate. So maybe take the square root of his story. But a similar thing that he had met Knoxville for the first time, and they talked about what their plans for the future were. And Knoxville said something like, I got this idea where I want to have the American flag behind me, and I'm in a cowboy hat with some music playing, and it's my show. And then fast forward a year, and you guys had the down and the fucking scene and all that, and it sounded like it was a little bit Bert Kreischer-ified, but Knoxville was the same way of I have this idea to do this thing.
Knoxville was pretty deliberate.
Yeah, which is funny because it's you guys are. It's the most chaotic, hectic, maniac shit, but it was pretty.
Right. It was year 2000 when Jackass premiered on MTV. Mm-hmm. And then, and I'm doing my thing, and I started touring, doing a fucked up stage show and all this stuff. I was cruising around. I started putting out my own Too Hot for TV DVDs. You know, never got paid for any of them. You know, even though they were like platinum before they came out. But I was just, you know, that was how much I cared about like my business affairs.
Yeah.
You know, like, and the fourth DVD that I put out without getting paid a dime for it. It was a vehicle for just finding a home for all of my early footage, which just wasn't that impressive. I made a documentary called The Early Years. And in that documentary, my dad, like, famously says, when Steve puts his mind to it, he can accomplish anything. The problem is, that's a fairly narrow slice of the pie, which comes back to the original point we were talking about.
Can't do it unless you're.
If you can't, if I, you know, with that, like, without, and the way I view it now, you're right. A lot of people are very quick to settle for a 9-to-5 fucking job that makes them miserable, and we need that in the world. You know, we need that in the world. A lot of people who don't have the balls to go after what they really want to do.
Right.
I think that the most people's biggest problem is that if you want to accomplish something, first you have to identify a goal to accomplish. And I think there are a lot of people who just don't have a goal.
No.
So I would say
like it's not like I bet there's a lot of people who do have the balls. They just are like,
They don't know what they wanna do.
I'm not like athletic, so I can't do sports. I can't sing. I can't like, what is it? And maybe if they tried different things out, maybe they would have found it. But if you don't ever find it, you end up just being like, all right, I'll work as a fucking whatever.
You've got to identify a passion to pursue.
Because so many people don't have it, you know?
Right.
Because your initial passions are like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a baseball player.
Right.
And those go quickly. And then it's like, now what? And
For
you don't have it, you know?
Yeah, and you know, so I think that, you know, if I had like a distilled piece of wisdom to share, it would be the meaning of life is to fucking get off your ass and pick a meaning for your life, you know?
Well said.
Like,
That is very well said.
Pick. It's not a fucking mystery. What's the meaning of life?
It's your
up to,
meaning
it's up
of
to
life.
you.
Yeah,
It's up to you to pick
it's
one.
not like the meaning of life.
Yeah.
It's your meaning of life.
Pick one.
Right.
And you know, the thing too, like if you want to be successful, you have to have a goal. And like when you're pursuing whatever goal you've identified, intelligence is helpful, right? Not necessarily mandatory by any fucking
Gives you a
stretch.
good leg up, but
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
Talent is useful, you know, not mandatory. The one fucking thing that's mandatory is enthusiasm, man. Enthusiasm is the engine that drives success.
Yeah.
Period.
That's such a great call, especially in what you guys do. Just the enthusiasm.
For sure.
It's infectious.
For sure.
Like you're,
I mean, I got
you're all into it.
goosebumps just fucking articulating this. Especially because when you take the word enthusiasm, the Greek or Latin roots for the word, what you have is en theos, which means with God.
Yeah.
So when you're fucking on fire for something with enthusiasm, you're doing God's work.
Or literally on fire.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you're one of the few people like where my first thought will be actually on fire.
Yeah, and when I fucking shove something up my ass, I am doing God's work.
So wait, in that moment, in those moments, are you actually thinking that? Like, I could see when you are, like, flying off of something and you're in the air or you're doing something on fire, it's like, whoa, I'm pushing myself to, like, the limits here. But when you're just, like, putting some shit up your ass, are you like, I'm doing God's work? Like, in those moments, are you recognizing what you're doing, or are you just thinking, I'm being a fucking idiot right now?
I mean, it certainly depends. You know, like it's going to be a case by case situation. But
you got your legs over your head and your friend's pulling a car toy out of your ass. Going, this is God's work, bro. We're next level.
I think that it is. I think you're founding men.
Yeah. You are. I mean, you're trailblazers of this shit.
What I would say, you know, particularly in the case of Jackass, because we have like the whole format of what we do is you know, by design and very deliberately, there's what we call a peanut gallery. You've got the person whose bit it is, you know, carrying out the feats, you know, whatever the activity is, and then you've got an assortment of the rest of the cast just onlooking as the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
And the peanut gallery is like, by definition, the barometer for the success of the bit.
Yeah.
You know, like our
especially
job,
those guys, because they've seen it all. So
Right. Our job when we're doing the bit is to make the peanut gallery laugh. When the peanut gallery laughs, it's like ding, ding, ding. This has worked.
Yeah.
And dude, I'll give you the fucking craziest story. It's the fucking best. Like when we were making the first movie, they were like really serious. Like the director's like, dude, don't fucking waste our time with any fucking half-ass ideas. Now it's a R-rated movie. You know, like we gotta like step it up.
Yeah.
My first thing I said in response to that was, "Oh yeah," like I was like indignant and offended that they would suggest I might, waste
anybody's time. Yeah.
Right, and I said, "Oh yeah, how about if I get myself tattooed on myself, larger than myself?" Because the face on my back is considerably larger than my face. And that was my first thing. Now, I submitted all these different ideas, and it just ended up being a spaghetti at the wall situation. But one of my ideas, and it wasn't one of the bigger ones, but I said, hey, I've got this thing. It's like a bar trick I do. Like I drink through my nose. I'll do like, with straws or whatever. I said, please make me a beer bong where like the thick hose forks into two thinner hoses, and each of those hoses will go into one of my nostrils, and I'll funnel a beer through my nose. I said, I think I can fucking pound like a whole beer, like funnel it, like beer bong it into my nose, like in record speed. I think it'll be amazing. So fair enough. They humored my idea. The props guy makes a nostril beer bong with two thin hoses. We get on the set. I'm fucking wide awake for like day 2 or 3. On cocaine. I was on cocaine that whole first
like
movie.
day 2 or 3 of the movie shoot. No, I've been awake for 3 days on cocaine. Got it. Understood.
Okay.
And so the peanut gallery gets around. Knoxville pours the fucking beer into the thing. I put the hoses in and just as I pictured it, exactly the way I planned it, I fucking bonged that whole beer into my nose in no time. But the problem was, not one person even giggled in the peanut gallery.
Because you did it.
There was like and then like no laughter, and Knoxville says, that sucked. Stick it up your ass. Right? Now, here's where it gets even better, is because this happened after I had declined to put the toy car up my butt, right? Because citing that it would upset my father too much, and I'm backing out because I just can't do that to my dad. So Knoxville says, that sucked. Stick it up your ass. And immediately I go, we already established I don't put shit up my butt. And if I would have left it there, I would have been clean off the hook. No problem. Not another question. But then I followed that up by saying, and it probably wouldn't work anyway.
Really?
So now I've completely fucked myself, because first and foremost, we are scientists. And now it is our fucking fiduciary duty
you took an oath
to find out if it's going to work. And I realized I fucked myself. I'm like, oh, God damn it. So here we go. And remember, this was on the first movie.
Right.
That butt chug was not a part of the first movie. It was a part of the second movie.
Okay.
So what we went on to film that day never saw the light of day. It never even landed.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I don't think I've seen is the nose thing out there?
There are pictures of it, but none of this ever even made it to the cutting room floor, because it never even got cut.
Yeah.
Because when we chopped off the thinner hoses, I lay down on the ground. I remember like that being the harshest thing for me, was how easily that thick ass beer bong hose just glided right into my butthole. I mean, there was no resistance at all. It just went in. They're like, dude, you just got into that easy. You got in. What the fuck is wrong with you? And so then they pour the fucking beer into the thing, right? And everyone's chanting, chug, chug. Nothing's happening. But then I kind of figure it out. I start kicking my legs, and you can see. You can see it's going into my butt. But that first time when we were filming the first movie, as much as the beer was going in my butt, all of this yeasty, cloudy shit was coming out of my butt. So the beer in the hose was just getting cloudy and shit.
He's gonna puke.
Just filled with shit. And
just go. You're gonna puke. Go. There he goes.
Wow. That's a hair trigger right there.
Dude, he has one of the weakest stomachs I've ever seen, and he is cripplingly hungover right now. So he is, yeah.
That's epic.
Before you came in, we were just talking about certain things.
I'll get him back out there momentarily.
Yeah. so it's
okay. So here's so now. Now what happens next? Like they were filming it as well, like kind of right down Main Street. Like they just the way they filmed it was just too graphic for it to be usable.
To be on the movie.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
For it to be usable. And what made it worse?
do pray tell. Continue.
What made it worse was that after I pulled out, I got like most of it in there. I pulled out the beer bong, and I found like that I was able to kind of fart beer
back out.
Yeah, but it was just little spurts. Then it was just like a little spurt, and it would shoot out. And then I start giggling and hiking my legs up higher and higher, and keeps doing the spurts, farting out the beer, but now I'm managing to fart out more and more.
Yeah.
By the time I get my ass up over my head, I'm just straight up shitting beer into my own mouth. Yeah. I mean, dude, if they could... If they could unearth that footage,
so that's never been seen though.
It was filmed. It was never. They never even
think
edited.
Has that?
I mean, it
would
would
like Tremaine and those guys have that.
I'm sure that it lives in a vault.
Dude, you've got to get that out.
It lives.
So
in a
it's
vault
kind of just it's hucking over, and it's like
100% was farting beer into my own mouth, like and laughing. I was
hysterically
farting all over. It's the beer's coming out of my asshole, landing on my face, splashing off my cheeks,
and you're just loving it.
And it's going in my mouth, and I'm just giggling.
And the peanut gallery.
I'm sure I was swallowing it too, just for effect.
And the peanut gallery's going bananas.
Oh my God, they couldn't get enough.
And the thought that probably, I don't know, 15 whatever minutes earlier, you were going, no, my dad won't be happy with that.
Right. I told you that's a good story, man.
I mean, that footage, I don't know where we could put it, but it's got to go somewhere.
I used to tell that story in my stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, and after my first comedy special came out, like I just retired that story. I haven't told that story.
One though.
I haven't told it
in years.
It's a great one. It's a great one. Dude, do you realize like the kind of power you have, like how to influence people? Like we were talking about when we saw you at Burt's, and you were telling the story about the sumo dildos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was like, if Steve-O takes out a double-sided dildo right now, I'm gonna have to wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, it's an aggressive idea. So we can share this with the.
But I mean wrestle you. Like I'll do it. I'll put it in my ass.
Right. Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
And guess what? It'll slide in pretty easily there too. You might have a good partner in that one.
And that was like I think I pitched that for Jackass 3D. I was like, here's the idea. It's sumo wrestling. Like. We spray paint a big circle on the ground, and then the two sumo wrestlers start out with their backs to each other, and each sumo wrestler puts one end of a double-ended dildo into their butt. And then the object of the game is that they have to crash their butts together and try to force the other man out of the circle.
Backing up, boxing out.
Right. I mean, that's your double-ended butt sumo. That's fucking funny.
So wait, are you gonna do? it sounds like Jackass 4 was it, right?
I mean,
never say never, but a lot of guys were like, this is the one, right? This is the final one. But then you have these ideas, and it's like someone's gonna butt wrestle at some point.
Dude, I was 100% certain that the ship had sailed. That it's been 10 years. There's not gonna be another fucking Jackass movie, and I was wrong. I was more shocked than anybody when Knoxville piped up saying he wanted to do a fourth movie. Like I could not fucking believe it.
Yeah.
And so now, I'm reluctant to say. I feel that it's wildly unlikely that there would be another Jackass movie, but. I'm unreliable.
Maybe just the one, just do the double-sided dildo for fucking the internet. That's it. You don't have to do a whole film.
I'm an unreliable source. For this, but like what I've done is just I've never stopped doing this shit. You know, like I've got my bucket list tour, which is a multimedia comedy show about the highest level stunts that I set out to do. Like one where I'm butt naked in an airplane with the man strapped to my back and I'm jacking off and simultaneously blow a load as I'm falling out of the plane. I had that idea for like 20 fucking years.
You got to do that before it's over.
I went skyjacking. That's the closure.
Yeah.
That's the happy ending of the whole show. Yeah, and skyjacking was one. Like, so I had like high level.
You just going just right off the brain? You didn't have like a porn on your phone?
I brought a portable DVD player. Yeah.
Portable DVD.
I ate 4 fucking Cialis pills for breakfast. I had my Preston Lacey from Jackass. He was my fluffer, squirting lotion on my hands. It was high level. Yeah, and so like I identified like the just most over the top stunts to put together my tour, and then that's what my bucket list tour is. Is I have a whole act about the whole fucking thing, and after each bit I screen the footage of the culmination of the bit, and none of this shit would ever have been allowed to have happened for Jackass.
Right.
I got a medical professional in disguise to administer fucking stolen general anesthesia drugs into an IV in my arm while I'm riding a fucking bicycle. That is so goddamn illegal.
That is the funniest thing I ever heard.
That's good. I mean, dude, I'm not fucking around. So goddamn. It's unbelievably goddamn illegal. And now the bucket list tour is kind of winding down. And I anticipate filming the special in less than 6 months, roughly. And then as soon as I film that special, I go into putting together the next show I'm going to tour with, which is the Steve-O's Gone Too Far tour, which double-ended dildo butt sumo is perfect.
What a plan, bro. Like you said, very deliberate.
And I don't know who my opponent's gonna be. Like you can auditions.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Imagine we film an audition for Steve-O doing that. Oh,
I think that I believe that there's like a feed being fed into the room where my fiance is, and she's just like right now.
God damn it.
She's shaking her head like, oh God, stop. Yeah, there's none of my ideas for Gone Too Far. Like, I should say every single one of the ideas I have for Gone Too Far, like anybody who cares about me at all is just aggressively trying to talk me out of it.
Please no.
Yeah.
I hate to cut it short, but we do want to try to film a video with you as well. If we
all
can
right,
pop
dude,
next
let's
door.
do it.
The book is A Hard Kick in the Nuts. I mean, if you're a fan of you gotta read the story. You gotta know that this is what it's about. Like we've all seen the stunts, but the behind the scenes is fucking incredible.
If you like crazy shit, then you need my book. It's TMZ level reading.
Actually, you know what? We talked about having our book club. This is it.
Yeah.
We'll do this. Yeah. Our book club, it's you have to read one book a year, and I believe the date is like January 10th. We're all going to talk about it. So it's going to be Hard Kick in the Nuts, and Hard Kick in the Nuts, and we'll all talk about it.
It's TMZ level reading. It's a book of wisdom. It's actually. I think it's actually going to be in the self-help section.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, because memoir part 2, they told me is not a thing, and I did a memoir my memoir came out in 2011, and I was like, dude, the last 10 years have been like crazier than anything.
Yeah,
like I got to write a new book.
Right,
and they're like, well, you can't do memoir part 2, and I was like, all right, book of wisdom.
It's not far off though, man.
Yeah,
so.
dude, it's really rad. I'm super proud of it, and it's available everywhere books are sold. So
Great stuff, man.
Yeah, buy it.
You are a hero.
You're the best.
Dude,
Thank you
so much, man.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Let's go right next door. I know you got.
That really was a hoot.
That was great. That was fucking great.
There was a moment where I was just locked eyes. You're telling me the story, and you're. And I was like, this is the best moment of my life. It's all I ever dreamed of. I'm having like an in-depth conversation with Steve while my best friend's puking. This is amazing. Make sure you subscribe to KFC Radio on YouTube to get all the video content. Subscribe, comment, like, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever new video content drops.
I want to say something, but the video has to be faster. That's it.